Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather, and I've got a piece of black Dublin. I wanted to explain why I think this is probably the best black leather. We also have a bunch of wallets that we're shipping out today. So if you've ordered something, you might see it in the video. So this Dublin leather here is the result of a crazy experiment that Skip Horween had about a decade ago. And if you're familiar with the shell cordovan leather, that leather actually takes 6 months to produce, but there are 2 months of that process that take place inside of a pit, and it's what is called pit tanned. And now Horween takes a special blend of tree barks and they slowly tan the shell. And Skip's idea was, what would happen if we took some steer hides and tanned it using that same tree bark that they use for the shell cordovan? And this leather here is a result of that. There's actually a couple variations on the leather. The initial leather was called Essex, but once you apply a bit of wax to the surface of the Essex, the result is a product called Dublin, and that's the leather here. The number one reason that I like the Dublin leather is just for the natural character. And take a look here. You can see all the bits of variation. It has a really fine detail in the grain as well. They're not really covering up any bit of that grain character, but also because this is a veg tan leather, it has a really incredible feel. And if you're familiar with veg, it tends to have a nice bit of body to it. It snaps back to your hand, but it's firm and soft at the same time. It's really interesting. It's sort of a unique thing that I've noticed in all veg tan leathers, or even if you have a vegetable retan leather like the Chrome Excel, it tends to have a bit of that bite to it, but also the luster. Take a look at the luster on this piece. It's just a beautiful, bright, shiny luster, but it's not overly mirror-like like the shell cordovan. It's a little bit more subtle. But the reason that this leather, in particular in the black color, is very special is you don't find a lot of black leathers in the world that have any amount of character. And perhaps the main reason that I like the Dublin is it's very resilient. A lot of other leathers that Horween produces are a little bit more easily scratched and scuffed, kind of like the Chrome Excel. And I like that look, but on the Dublin, because we have a wax finish on the surface, if this is scuffed and scratched, you can really easily fill in those scuffs and scratches because the Dublin has that hard wax finish on the surface. It's almost like you melt the wax right back into the scratches. So let's move on here to the Tony the Ant in black Dublin. And I just love the natural character in this leather. I think once you cut it into a pattern piece like you're seeing on this Tony the Ant here, you get a really good sense of just how nice this particular leather is. I wanted to show you this black Dublin Tony the Ant because we do have these back in stock now, so we have quite a few. If you're interested in checking out the black Dublin, the Tony the Ant is one of our most popular styles. And let me show you another black Dublin piece. This is our Giant the Fox that we're shipping out today in black Dublin. This one is going to Leon in Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for supporting us, Leon. Really appreciate it. And you got a beautiful piece of black Dublin coming your way. And take a look at this grain character here. This is what I'm talking about. You don't find a lot of black leathers that have any amount of this. And that's because most of those black leathers are just paint. They're really heavily finished. And it sort of covers up all this interesting character. And for some reason, I tend to see that most often on black leathers. Now, here's another interesting Dublin piece, but this is the English tan Dublin. And take a look at that character. All these bits of natural character and these larger bits of striations in the grain I think are very interesting. And I love the color of the English tan. This particular Giant the Fox has Dublin on inside and on the outside. And this one is going to Robert in Florida. And I have a couple other English tan Dublin pieces. This is our XL Valet Tray, again in that English tan Dublin. This one is going to Yusuf in Wisconsin. And let me give you a bit of the size comparison here because we have our regular Valet Tray going out today as well. This one is more square. This was the first one we started doing. We also have the XL Tray here. I've been carrying a Capone. Let me give you a sense of size here because every wallet we sell will fit very nicely in the XL Valet Tray. The Capone will fit nicely in the regular Valet Tray also. But take a look here. This is a iPhone 10 and it fits just about perfectly in the center of this XL Valet Tray. And I wanted to show you the regular size here that is going to Brad in Florida. Thank you so much, Brad. Take a look at that Dublin character on the backside here. And let me give you a look at another English tan Dublin piece. This is the last one I'll be showing you today. And if you don't see your wallet in the video, don't worry, we'll be sending it out, although today is a shipping holiday, so it'll be delayed by 1 day there. This particular customer here picked up that Frank the Enforcer, but they also picked up an XL Valet Tray. And this is the black Chrome Excel. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a comparison here on the Chrome Excel versus the Dublin. So the Chrome Excel has a polished, smooth grain. You can see it has a nice bit of character, a lot of life to this particular piece of black. But the Chrome Excel, you can see, is much smoother than the Dublin piece that I have in my hand here. We have all this bit of character. The Chrome Excel, because it is a polished grain, it's very flat and smooth. So this Frank the Enforcer and XL Valet Tray are going to Manolo in Virginia. I do have another black wallet to show you, and this is our Johnny the Fox in 100% black shell cordovan. It's really tough for us to get the thin pieces of shell for the inside of this Johnny the Fox, but the black shell is the other black leather that we do, and it's very different than every other leather around. There is no grain at all in the shell, and that's because this is a membrane that's hidden underneath the skin of the hindquarters of every equine animal. So horses, zebras, donkeys, and mules all have this unique fiber structure underneath their butts, which is kind of awkward to talk about, but it has this really bright, shiny luster. It's totally smooth. You can see there's no grain character at all. And let's compare and contrast this with the Dublin, which is sort of the non-horse butt version of the shell cordovan. The Dublin here, you can see so much more character in that grain, and it's not better or worse, it's just a little bit different, because obviously shell cordovan is really special. And this black shell cordovan Johnny the Fox is heading out to Joseph in Michigan. And here's another shell cordovan piece. This is the other most popular shell cordovan color. That black I just showed you and the color right here are the two most popular shell cordovan colors. This one is a dark brown burgundy shade that has a nice little dramatic dynamic color shift to it. You can see different angles, more or less of these sort of burgundy red tones pop out, and other angles it just appears a little bit more of a dark brown. This Bugs Moran is heading out to Hunter in Minnesota. And here's another classic color 8 shell cordovan, but this is on the Fat Herbie. This is the largest wallet we do, and it has these unique card layouts on the inside with 4 card slots in total. But what I like about it is when you fully load this up, because these are not stacked on top of each other, this wallet just lays as thin as possible in your back pocket, which is why I like it. I like carrying my wallet in the back pocket. And take a look at that beautiful piece of color 8 shell. This one is heading out to Sharon in California. And the last wallet to show you today is a beautiful piece, and it's another Fat Herbie, but this is the natural shell cordovan. And I feel like on the lighter colors you tend to see a little bit more natural character, and for me that's kind of what makes everything more interesting, although some people want it a little bit more flat and even, and that's okay. And I think anything that you like the look of is good. So when I think about this black Dublin, for example, and I'm calling this what I think is the best black leather, that's just my opinion. So you could think this is not as interesting as a perfectly flat and smooth painted look, and that's great. I think both are great and both have their own places, but I like this natural shell Fat Herbie here for a couple of reasons. This was our first sort of hit that we started with Ashland about 10 years ago. The Fat Herbie was our first wallet style, and we first started making it in the natural shell because I wanted to see how nice the patina developed. So you can see the color starts a little bit light, a little bit golden here, but the more this is worn, the darker it becomes, but the luster also increases. It does have this mirror-like shine on the surface, and that shine remains, but there's almost like a luster that develops from inside of the leather that I really like, and it's that combination of those two layers of luster and the patina that accumulates on this leather that I think make it extra special. So this particular Fat Herbie is going out to Jeremiah, and Jeremiah is in the armed forces in Europe right now. So thanks so much for everything, Jeremiah. Thanks for checking out the video today. If you have any questions about Black Dublin, definitely let me know. It's a really interesting leather, which is why I like it so much, and just so much natural character. So thanks again for checking it out. Hope you have a good day, and take care.